is a very important day for the community so they can get re-engaged, but she does caution that everybody stays safe, they social distance, they wear masks, all to keep safe. That way we don't take a step backwards. So we will see what happens with the rest of the night. If you come over here real quick, the line has steadily grown since we've been here. Even though it has a lot of support from lawmakers on both sides, it still has a ways to go before it becomes a law. One other bill that's gaining a lot of attention is a balloon bill. And through comments on social media and talking with police officers, they say that there were so many comments pouring in about the love that Deputy Gross had for children and always willing to help someone. And one comment, I want to make sure I get this correctly. One officer said that he will be greatly missed, but never forgotten. Back to you, Beth. They say that the fire took place at around 1 o'clock this morning, meaning that it's 8 o'clock now, so 7 hours later, and they're still working on the cleanup. Last year at this time, there was barely anybody here, and as you can see now, people are walking up and down the streets, and while things are looking much better, business owners say the best has yet to come. Biggest takeaway from today was that Republicans really wanted it to be a more bipartisan effort. They wanted to be part of the process, to be teamwork. Democrats just said this was very needed. It was essential to get back to a new normal.
We're going to beat the pandemic, and look at all the people.
You know, it's amazing. It's amazing to see the community out here, people online. They've been coming in and out throughout the day. And Muppy over here is actually one of the owner's dogs, so the only one getting separation anxiety is me. Our top story tonight starts with controversy in Augusta, where a group of Democrats are asking for a state Republican lawmaker to resign over comments in which she compared the vaccine mandates to the Nazi doctor known as the Angel of Death. We start with Maine's Attorney General Aaron Frey, who has filed a civil rights complaint in response to the vandalism in Bangor. Advocates in Portland are celebrating Women's Equality Day. It's a day to commemorate the 19th Amendment, which was adopted 101 years ago. Mal Meyer reports from Portland. Some are hopeful that state and federal lawmakers will keep pushing for these issues. Continue to cover the trial going into next week. And in other news, the Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention is investigating an outbreak of gastrointestinal illnesses that have been associated with the Patent Pond camping resort in Ellsworth. They also found more than $20,000 cash. Miller says that 3 counts of trafficking scheduled drugs were added to Higgins' charges. Meanwhile, Maine State Police responded to a tractor-trailer rollover on I-95 in Augusta on Friday morning, and they placed the driver under arrest. And welcome back. It's time for the highly anticipated action flick, The Suicide Squad, with returning characters and those making their grand introductions. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin. And absolutely tragic news, but it's beautiful to see the positive impact that he had on everyone that he knew. In other news, home heating oil prices could rise as much as 50% this winter. However, there are some steps you can take to keep your bill low and some assistance programs available for families in need. Twins Day has been recorded as the largest annual gathering of twins in the world by the Guinness Book of World Records. My younger brothers, Ben and Dan, are twins. They couldn't make it to Ohio, but happy Twins Day to you guys. And for your celebratory gift, I give you these 4 penguins taking a dip in the pool. But this swim is more than just fun times in the water. All right, well, after a beautiful week this last week, today has been dark, gloomy, kind of waiting for the rain, but it hasn't really happened yet. Let's turn things over to Andrew Kieckhafer, who's now in with a first look at our forecast. Andrew?
David, you said it perfectly.
Melissa Boyd has struggled with autism and Tourette's her whole life. About 2 years ago, she found out she was pregnant and began working with Maine families of Washington County.
You know, helping families maybe find an apartment or making sure they have health insurance and those sorts of things.
Boyd's daughter was born with cystic fibrosis, a rare disease that can cause lung infections. She has not had a car in over 6 years, and now she needs one more than ever. We all have car issues. They can ruin a day, they can ruin a whole week. Now let's take it a step further and imagine you have a kid who relies on you for transportation, but still, no car.
I want to be relying on other people, other types of transportation, exposing her to other things. I wanted to be able to have her in just my car, not around other people all the time.
Boyd says one of her biggest fears is her daughter needs to go to the doctor, or even worse, the hospital. She was motivated to save up enough money to buy a car.
I had created a GoFundMe, and some people had contributed to that, so I saved that money.
On Thursday, she came to Fairway Auto Sales prepared to purchase her car. However, the owners had other plans.
You know, she was going to have to wait till the beginning of next month until she was able to complete the payment on the vehicle. I think that was when we finally said to each other, you know, I think the right thing to do is let's just give this car to this young girl. And balance has been paid in full, and you don't have to give us anything today.
Oh my gosh, isn't that wonderful?
I'm super excited for you.
So grateful for everybody in my life, Ellen, and I'm so grateful for you guys. And like, you know, I don't get many things in my life easily.
Murray lost his mother to brain cancer a few years ago. He says it's the values that she instilled in him that prompt him and his wife to give back. In Hancock, I'm David Horowitz reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22. Bangor's Assistant Fire Chief Dennis Nadeau says that multiple calls came in on Monday night for fires on Center Street Avenue.
On arrival, we had a significant amount of fire between Unit 9 and 11 that extended into both units. And crews worked really hard to save what we could of these buildings.
Firefighters say the fire took place at around 6 o'clock last night. This is one of the buildings involved in the two-building fire, and one of the tenants says that he owes his life to a woman who knocked on his door.
The lady banging on the door, and we didn't know what was going on. She's banging on the front door right up here, and we came out to check, and the dogs ran out with us, and we opened the door, and she's screaming that we got to get out, there's a fire, and we got outside, and fire. She saved our lives, man, as far as I'm concerned. If I knew who she was, I'd thank her.
French says he got out of the building even before the firefighters had arrived.
By the time we got out here, there was a bang, and something blew out back, and then everyone showed up and started putting out the fire.
One man working in a nearby office says he heard something as well.
I looked out the window and saw this huge plume of very dense black smoke, kind of a column shooting up in the air. So it was pretty obvious that something exploded that generated black smoke.
Anything that has a heavy fuel content in the processing of making it, like roofing or siding, will put off a heavy black smoke like that.
Nadeau says it was a 4-alarmed fire with several departments assisting. He says no injuries were reported. The cause of the fire remains under investigation.
We got out, our dogs got out, the neighbors got out, all the tenants out. That's all that care about at the end of the day. Material value is useless.